16-0 Radio Network, bringing you all Dolphins, everything Dolphins, and only Dolphins, the number one ranked Dolphins-based station in the whole entire nation, everyone. Number one, and everybody agreed this draft class was extraordinary, one of the best ever. It does not matter if you were Skip Bayless, if you were myself, if you were Terry Bradshaw. Everyone believed that this draft class was crazy for the Dolphins this year, and everyone on this roster has potential to be in a great role, but it all starts with the preseason, and here comes a new addition. It's Leonard Floyd bringing down Eli Manning in the backfield, filling in for Cameron Wake, traded over the offseason, and it's going to be interesting how he works out. And here's Tannehill now, finding his man downfield, and that is actually the rookie Sheldon Young, not Leonte Carew. However, more on Leonte Carew later, and Sheldon Young, the second round tight end. But right here, finishing off the drive, why not? Second round running back Tevin Felder in the receiving game. He is fast, he is agile, and he is elusive. Great hands, great routes. Guy to watch out for right there, Tevin Felder. But now look at this, the start of the Sanchez Beckett show. The fifth round linebacker projected to go in the 7th round, but we took a swing on him, and it seems to be paying off so far. And here it continues, Sanchez Beckett knocking the ball right out, doing the laundry, and Shane Vereen loses it. And here comes the Miami Dolphins offense. And Tannehill getting a little bit greedy. Too many interceptions last season. And DRC getting the first one of his season this year. But hey, the games do not matter. And here's Eli on the offense, pitching it out. Darian Fitzgerald, and how about that run defense? First round defensive tackle, that is Philip Wisniewski, getting in there to make his first big impact play. And why not Kobe Listenby, fighting for a roster spot against a lot of receivers. We'll have to see if he can pull forward in that competition, but right now it's pretty apparent. And speaking of pretty apparent, Jesse Williams making a huge tackle for a loss as they try to run there, and Williams says no, no, no. And here, once again, the tight ends. Darren Waller fighting Sheldon Young for that top tight end spot, and it's going to be a sweet, sweet, sweet competition. And here, later, fourth quarter, Manning gives it to Fitzgerald, and the run defense woes will continue. The second team defense unable to fill the gap, and more specifically, Barry Hyden, fourth round linebacker, unable to fill the gaps. But here, it is going to be a huge touchdown for the Giants, pulling them forward 2 possessions, and that was Antoine Williams getting beaten coverage. The linebacker, Antoine Williams, not the late Vikings corner, but overall we lose that game, and Williams probably lost his roster spot with that one. But the preseason, all about position battles as we lose this game, but a lot of big plays by a lot of people. And speaking of big plays, the Sanchez Beckett show continues. Pick 6. You got 1 pick 6. Did you ask for 2? Order up, Jelani Jenkins getting the pick 6, bobbling it, and this Dolphins defense is not messing around with anyone as Jelani Jenkins gets in the end zone. Luke Patterson, by the way, with the hit that forced that ball out, and what a big start to this game. Dolphins Nation, rise up. In Trump we trust, the owner and the GM making things happen. And here is Ryan Tannehill going back downfield, and Marquise Goodwin, the free agent acquisition, making an impact early, trying to throw in his hat in the ring for the third receiver spot. But look at this run defense. Carrington Wilkinson and Philip Wisniewski, the 2 defensive tackles we drafted, making an impact, and this is a rookie's game. And we'll say that as Melvin Flanagan breaks 2 tackles and takes this one the distance, showing the speed, showing the power, and showing that he could possibly have a role going forward this season if he can make some more plays. That is the first play he has made, and he has been quiet through the first game. So it's going to be interesting to see how Flanagan makes things happen going forward. However, this would be the end of highlights in this one. And here are some notable cuts. Leon Hall getting cut, LeCambrick Austin, and Kobe Listenby getting cut. But here in the Pittsburgh game, they lead 7-3, but in Tannehill, we trust. Ryan Tannehill making plays. And notably, once again, there is Sheldon Young, the second-round tight end. Yes, the second-round tight end. You do not take a tight end that early unless he is as good as Sheldon Young is, but he is just that. And look at this play by the undrafted rookie, Craig Leary, showing maybe that was the reason why Leon Hall was cut. But anyways, it is 4th down and 9, and that is a big stop. And speaking of undrafted rookies, how about Frank Sharp? Maybe the reason Kobe Listenby was cut was because this guy is crazy. 6'2", runs a 4.4 in Frank Sharp, trying to crack the roster. And he may just do so, or even best case scenario, cracks the roster, or worst case scenario, finds himself on the practice squad for a season to groom his route running skills. But overall, Frank Sharp, a guy to watch. And here is another turnover. 91 with the pressure. That is going to be Tyrone Holmes, and Carrington Wilkinson picks this one up and takes it the distance in the 6th-round pick. Having fun early. There he is hitting the Nene, and Carrington Wilkinson showing why he could be the future at defensive tackle for this team. But nonetheless, more Frank Sharp. Look at this. 2nd touchdown of the day, and Frank Sharp keeps making things happen. He's shown the speed, he's shown the release, and just there, he shows the height and the spectacular catchability. And Frank Sharp could be a great receiver here in a few years. And my main question is, how does a guy with this much stature, with this much potential, fall out of the draft? That is a mystery to me. But Frank Sharp trying to defy the odds. And here's a running back we have not seen, Kenyon Drake. Look at him plow through 2 guys. You do not see him do that very often. And showing the speed, 99 yards and a home in the promised land. However, last minute there is a holding call, and this one will be utterly wiped out. But Kenyon Drake showing that maybe another year on the practice squad would be good, or maybe he's ready to actually move onto the roster. We will find out. So that preseason game ended there. We move our record to 2-1, and finally versus Seattle, this is where the roster changes came into play. You were wondering, who's the starting kick returner going to be? Well, Marquise Goodwin making a statement and winning the battle right here at kick returner, and that's what preseason is about, winning those battles for positions. And we have a lot of depth and a lot of positional battles. But here, Tannehill, who's going to win the 3rd receiver job? It's not Eric Redmond, it's Leonte Carew. Eric Redmond dropped happy this preseason, but look at Leonte Carew. So efficient, so good, knows the playbook real well, and he could just be that guy to step up. And look at that beautiful toe drag by Leonte Carew, winning the 3rd receiver battle in preseason. And right here, DeJon Smith. Preseason is about also getting yourself taken off of the roster. One wrong move in preseason week 4 when you are on the bubble can mean your fate. And say goodbye to Tanner McAvoy, 71 yards. And also, more notably, say goodbye to DeJon Smith for giving up a huge play downfield, and that is not what you want. Getting beat too often in man coverage, and that is not good. But right here, Tevin Felder making plays in his final game. He was a little bit quiet in the running game, but here he unleashed, running for over 100 yards in this game. And it wasn't easy, but he secured himself the 3rd down running back spot. But here is CJ Prosise, 71 yards, puts the game away, and we will have to find out whose fault this was. It could have been Barry Heiden's fault. He has not played well enough to beat Sanchez Beckett out for the starting middle linebacker spot. Or it could have been a safety's fault, but more downfield action for Frank Sharp. However, he is not going to crack the roster, but practice squad for him, as we have probably the most loaded practice squad in the entire league. Look at these players. Look at how beautiful this is. Craig Leary did make the roster over James Keaton, and we have a lot of talent here and just a lot of guys that are going to be coming off of that practice squad and making an impact in years to come. However, here is a little bit of depth chart modifications. I'm going to talk about the team. I thought the offensive line played extraordinarily well. And I thought there were a lot of rookie standouts and more than I have seen in my experience in a long time. This is probably a more talented roster than the Dolphins team that kind of fluked it and went 16-0 years and years and years ago. But this team has a lot of talent, but can they execute? Can they be consistent on offense? And do they have depth if people are to get hurt? These are pretty common questions that are asked throughout amongst the league. But this is a talented roster, but depth may be an issue over time. We saw our run defense cripple up and get completely destroyed when we did not have our starters in and our big men in the middle in. It was a bit interesting to see what happened when Wisniewski and Carrington Wilkinson got taken out of the game, as well as Ndamukong Suh especially. Jesse Williams made some plays, but the consistency was just not there from Barry Hyden at middle linebacker, and the safeties were not filling the gaps. And that could be the main issue this season for the Dolphins if their starting 11 are to get hurt on defense. If any of them are to get hurt, can they recover and make plays? Anyways, guys, an exciting preseason and a lot to look forward to in the future of Dolphins football. There's a lot of questions, although that quarterback spot is not empty. I promise. Ryan Tannehill is not hurt. He is not injured. He is not benched, and there's nobody else to back him up, but he is going to start, and really just a lot of excitement, and probably the most excitement I've seen in the Dolphins atmosphere for a long time. I'm Jack signing out, and I will see everybody later.